Hey everybody, Tamara Tamu here, bringing you another episode of Unleashed Alchemy. Thank you so much for being here. Again, I want to thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you sharing this message, sharing this platform, sharing these videos. Okay, it's very I'm losing the words. I don't know what word I want to use, but I appreciate it very much. Okay, this episode, I tried to not address it. Okay. I really did. And even with my resistance to not wanting to share it, or my resistance to sharing it, I had to examine that and really get to the root of, okay, where is this resistance coming from? And because we're all honest here, because we are humans, we are souls having a human experience, we still feel the humanness of everything. Okay, we still feel the humanness of living this life, right? So I had to be honest and say that my resistance was coming from, okay, what are people going to think of this? How is this going to sound? So there, I'm being honest here. So let me get to the episode. All right. So there is this fallacy, all right, that's floating around. And before I get to that, let me say this. People like myself, if you are watching this perhaps, or if you're new here, perhaps you can relate. People like us who grew up in a church, maybe you didn't. People like myself who grew up in a cult, mine specifically was a Christian cult, who have decided, or who made a decision a long time ago, that religion, in its dogma, in its problematic message of telling people that there's only one way to the sovereign, that there's only one way to divinity, we no longer identify with that. That no longer served us. We felt an expansion. In our expansion, we found in our spirituality, which has nothing to do with religion. We found our expansion in finding out that self, the Christ consciousness that is within us. It is not out there. It is not separate from us. It's out there, but it's in here. More importantly, it is inside. It's not anything that is separate. Not only have we discovered that there are many ways to discovering that truth, we have discovered that presence, that force, that power has always been within us. It has always been there. Whereas religion teaches you to look outside of yourself. All right? So there is this fallacy, going back to that says that those of us who are choosing spirituality over a religion, or choosing spirituality over church, that we're doing that because we're speaking out of pain, or we're speaking out of hurt that hasn't been processed. And that is not the case. There's also this fallacy that those of us who are spiritual, really, we are spiritual. Okay, I always say this, but I say this continuously, and I say this repetitively. I am purposely being repetitive. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. That's for all of us, whether we acknowledge it or not. There you go. So the fallacy says that we're speaking from a place of pain, we're speaking from a place of hurt that we haven't gotten over, and that we are picking on religion or we're picking on people that go to church, and that is not at all the case. And I'm going to address that in this video. That is not the case at all. Here is the deal. Because of our experiences, our cult experiences, our religious programming experiences, we speak with passion, potency, and truth to set any person that feels like they are being held captive and who desire to be free of that so that they can experience their spirituality in a way that is unique for them. Whether judgment comes with it or not, judgment from other people. We speak with truth. I speak with truth and potency to let you know that you can be free in your spirituality, which then lends to you being free in your life and not being bound by any programming, religious or otherwise. Okay? Not only that, but we are also qualified to hold space. I'm looking at notes so I don't forget anything. To hold space for people who feel that tug in their heart. It's a silent tug, but at the same time, it is a commanding tug. That tug at their heart to explore spirituality, to wipe the slate clean from programmed ideas and dogmatic religions. And we are also qualified to observe and speak on charismatic manipulation and power with the intent and attempt to control the masses. So, for example, let's take pastors, right? Or any type of, you could say, leadership position in a church or in a religion, whatever. There is a certain level of power, charisma, and leadership qualities that one has to express to influence people to join a church, to join a temple, to join a group. You have to have those type of qualities to attract that, to be magnetized, to demonstrate those qualities in a way that draws people. All right? Now, what tends to happen is that these pastors and leaders forget that many times they forget, okay, here's what they forget. When they have not processed their own hurts, or they have chosen to ignore certain aspects about themselves that either they have identified as inappropriate or unacceptable, or someone else told them is unacceptable, they forget that they have a responsibility to hold space for people who want to release emotions and pain. There is no way that you can have a group of people in the form of a church or a temple or whatever that group looks like to you. In this case, let's just stick with the church example. There's no way that you can have, and I don't care the size of the church, but if you get a group of people together like that, all together like that, there's no way that you're not going to have people there who are processing some type of emotional trauma, some type of emotional pain, some type of desire to release some emotion because they realize it has kept them bound. And some people have not been given the opportunity in their life or given the space to express that. And sometimes they may not know how. So part of the pastor's role or the spiritual leader's role is to be able to understand that and hold space for that emotional release. And this is why you see so much emotion in churches, because people desire that relief and that release. I grew up in churches where I would leave and feel exhausted. As I got older, I realized what was happening, and that goes back to my spiritual gifts that have always been there. I just didn't know what they were as a little child. But you saw people just crying. Sometimes it was a yell without tears. Sometimes it was just a loud, almost sounded thunderous, just noises, because people were dealing with emotional blocks and just things about themselves that they wanted to process and had never been given the space to do so. So church became that space. And it wasn't handled right because people, pastors, preachers, leaders, they didn't know what to do with it because they hadn't dealt with their own. Okay? So I'm going to say this again. As a leader, as a pastor, if that person doesn't understand that, or if they have not had some type of emotional liberation that is necessary, then seeing and hearing someone cry out loud can be jarring to you. It could even be irritating to you if you don't realize, if you're not in tune with what's happening and with what's going on with a person. Or if you didn't get into that position with the intention of holding space for people in that way. And instead of that individual, that preacher, being honest about what they're feeling, about hearing and seeing that type of emotional processing in a person, instead of them saying, okay, this is annoying to me. Why are they yelling like this? What is happening? Why am I annoyed by it? Let me examine this. Let me observe that. They chalk it up to, they'll find a scripture or one of the favorite phrases, please understand the sarcasm in that. One of the phrases I would always hear was, oh, we have to have order. Okay. A person is crying because they're in pain. So does crying mean that a person is out of order? To show emotion, does that place a person in out of order status? What does that even mean? So, okay. Now, there is a video. I'm going to use another example. There's a video of this particular pastor who is attempting to say something that they said that God gave them to say. And they say that they become distracted because in the background, you can hear a person that is in that church. What I heard, yes, you heard tears. I'm going to tell you what I felt when I heard that individual crying. I heard, help me. I heard, this hurts, whatever this is. That's what I heard. I didn't hear disruption. Yes, was it loud? Yes. during that moment, was this individual the loudest person? That's what you heard? Yes. So that person, that pastor, treats the woman, to me, like a child. Or you would, and when we see children crying like that, or not just seeing children cry, and I can't stand to see adults tell a child that's crying to shush. Okay. But he shushes the woman, this grown woman, okay? This adult, from one adult to the next adult. He shushes her. This pastor shushes her. First of all, where's the respect? Just because of your role, to me it was disrespectful. And like I said, what I heard in those cries was, help me. I have to get whatever this is off of me. It's too much. So this is my time. This is my opportunity to get this off of me, to release these emotions that feel like they're weighing me down. Now, the reason that this pastor gave for silencing this woman is, he said that it was distracting, or something about being distracting, and there has to be order, and he was trying to say something. Okay, fine. What I'm going to say is this. Well, first, before I get to the next point, let me address this. What he should have done, what should have taken place, he should have just stopped talking. And if he did not want to put his mic down, he could have explained to the audience, okay, what we're hearing is someone who is in pain. Don't be alarmed by it. People come to this place, people come to this gathering to release emotional pain. This is a safe space for that. And what he could have done is perhaps inspired a person that was standing next to this woman. And he could have said, hey, do you mind if someone puts their arm around you, to provide her with some comfort and to let her know this is safe for you here. You don't have to be afraid here. Because for all we know, this woman, this adult, perhaps she has never had a safe space. Now I'm getting deeper into this just based off of this short clip of this video. But I'm bringing this up because it's important for us to look at perhaps the entire picture, okay? So perhaps this woman, even as a child, maybe she has never had someone to put their arm around her when she cried. Maybe when she cried, she was told, no, you be quiet. No, you have to be strong. And perhaps she was told to show tears or to show any emotion. Perhaps she was told that was weak. So you see, we don't know. We don't know. Like I said, I'm talking about this just based off of this short clip. But this is what can happen when you have pastors and leaders who respond and react in that way. So going back to what the pastor could have done is inspired someone that was standing around her, or some people standing around her, to perhaps just take her hand, just hold her hand. So, and to the next point, if the reason was because it was perhaps distracting, or perhaps he was trying to say something and couldn't form his thoughts because of her hollering or because of her crying, what I want to ask is your God that weak that your God cannot break through that and still give you the message that you need to speak, and still give you the vision that you need to hold, the message that you need to give to the people, or give to you? Is your God that weak that you can't hear through any type of noise or any type of what we would call chaos? I'm not saying that her crying is chaos. I'm just using that as an example. The reason I ask that question is because what I know for sure from experiences in my life, there is not any level of noise or any level of chaos where the great creator cannot still speak to you and speak to your heart and give you the visions, messages, and wisdom that you need. So, Spirit can send words, messages, and visions in calm, in peace, and in noise and chaos. So, when you hear these messages from people who don't go to church, and we speak heavily on spirituality, we're not picking on any type of religion. We're not picking on pastors. We're not picking on leaders in church. Keep your church. Keep your religion. What we are going to do, though, as spiritual leaders ourselves, we're going to sound the alarm on spaces, on teachers, on preachers, and leaders who forget or don't know their purpose of their spiritual centers that they call churches and temples. You cannot forget. Don't forget the purpose of that space. In order to not forget the purpose of that space, you have to be in tune with your own emotions at all times. And always question, okay, why am I here? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I holding this mic in my hand? Why am I on this platform? So that you never have to wonder if you're doing it for the right reasons. When you ask yourself, and when you are asking yourself, when you're questioning yourself, that is not a judgment. You're just simply getting yourself grounded to always make sure that your intent in what you say, any type of class that you have, I guess in church they call it service, any type of service that you have, what is the intention? What are you holding the service for? What is the space for? What are people going to come to and receive? Are you telling people, first of all, that no, they don't have to be there to receive from Spirit? Yes, the community is nice, but they don't have to be there. Are you reminding people to go within? You have to ask yourself these questions. So I just wanted to give that message. Okay, share this with people that you know. All right, comment, let me know what your thoughts are on this video. Don't forget that there are ways that I support you. It can support you on your spiritual odyssey. That is through the Unleashed Alchemy Magic School. I also provide one-on-one consulting with my 90-day spiritual consulting package. I will include the links for both the school and the package in the description box of this video. All right, thank you for tuning in. Until next time, cheers.